Whoa! Hello! I finally did it! I finally did the thing! I did it! Can you guess what I did? Can you guess what I have done? Can you guess? I finally read the first book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. I read The Lightning Thief. I have been so nervous about reading this book because so many of you guys have just been pushing it on me. You've just been telling me to read it. Ever since I joined booktube, people are like, you know what? You better read the Percy Jackson series or I'm gonna disown you. They didn't say that, but you guys have been pushing this book on me for quite some time now. And I finally read it, and I'm glad that I finally read it. Like, I just should have been listening to you guys' recommendation from the beginning. Like, I should have just listened to you and read the dang book, but there was just so much pressure. But I finally read it. And I'm glad that I read it. Like, I really enjoyed this book. It was fantastic. If you don't know what this book is about, I'd be surprised because everybody talks about it. I would highly recommend picking up this book and jumping into the series because it is just wonderful so far. Obviously, I've only read the first book, but I really loved it, and I'm really looking forward to getting into the rest of the series. But that's all I'm going to say that's non-spoilery about this book. I'm going to be jumping into a spoilery section now, so if you have not read this book, then you need to go and read it and then come back. Alright. Let's jump into the spoilery section. I'm probably going to be pronouncing some names wrong throughout this video, so apologies in advance. I'm not good at the pronunciations. So something that I loved right off the bat about this book was the relationship we see between Percy and his mother. And it's evident that Percy's mom would do everything in her power to protect him. Even if that means marrying this god-awful man, she'll do basically anything to protect him. In fact, I think one of my all-time favorite scenes in this book is when Percy and his mom get to go up to Monotank and just spend some time together. Even if it's interrupted really quickly and they don't get to spend too much time together, it's still really sweet to just see them interact and to just talk and kind of reflect on their life. I'm not sure how I feel about Grover yet. He's kind of an annoying character. Ugh, I'm sorry if you love Grover, but he was kind of annoying to me in this book. He's just kind of all over the place and I'm just like, get it together, man. Just focus. Focus. Hopefully he'll get better in the next few books though. I feel like he probably will. I'll get to see more of who he is and grow to enjoy his character a little bit more. I did love the scene though when Percy realizes that Grover was half goat. That was pretty comical. What are you exactly? That doesn't matter right now. It doesn't matter? From the waist down, my best friend is a donkey. Goat. What? I'm a goat from the waist down. You just said it didn't matter. I swear, Grover's laugh is really interesting, and that's how I read his laugh, was blah ha ha ha. Huh. So then we have this heart-wrenching, heartbreaking scene when Percy's mom is taken by one of the monsters, and Percy just gets this brilliant idea, and he's like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna be a bullfighter and reel this monster in that took my mother, and I'm gonna defeat the monster, and I'm just screaming at my book, what are you doing, Percy? You're gonna get yourself killed. Of course, he didn't really hear me, but you know, I tried yelling at him, he just wouldn't listen. But anyways, Percy makes it to Camp Half-Blood. Hey, 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 hey. I was actually kind of annoyed right off the bat with the camp counselor because he just shows no sympathy for Percy and his situation. Like, he just came to the camp after losing his mother to a monster. And also, I felt like the camp counselor just kind of expected Percy to know exactly everything that was happening, and like, no, no, no. I feel like this happens quite often with middle grade fantasy though. We have this main character who's just kind of kept out of the loop, and then they're thrown into this fantastical world, and everybody either expects them to know absolutely everything, or they're just not told anything, which is stupid. So stupid. It's kind of annoying, but what can you do? I found it really interesting because you learn so many different things about the monsters throughout this book, but one of the most interesting things to me about the monsters was the fact that they don't ever really just die, they can just be dispelled. But they're primal forces and archetypes, and so they're able to just basically reform. That to me was just really fascinating and really cool. Like, that's something that I really liked about this book, which was learning more about the monsters and how they work. It's kind of unfortunate though, because like, you kill the monster and they have the capability to just reform, so you can be fighting for hours and eventually kill the monster, but it's going to reform at some point. Like, that just sucks. We're introduced to Annabeth, and I really liked her character. I really liked how snarky and kind of sassy she was. Even if she does come off as a bit of a know-it-all, I mean, it's to be expected with her mother being Athena, for crying out loud, like the god of wisdom and battle, so of course she's going to think she knows everything. We have this scene where Percy goes against Luke in swordplay. And everyone is expecting Percy to completely embarrass himself, but he shocks everyone by disarming Luke. I really liked this scene, not because I really dislike Luke, but I think it's really nice to see Percy kind of getting the hang of things and kind of starting to figure out like what this is all about and like how he can battle and things. I don't know, it's just really cool to see Percy do that. And I am dancing now, so dance break. We're done. We're done. The capture the flag scene was fantastic. Fantastic. It was fantastic. We have Percy basically being slaughtered by Clarice, I think is how you say her name, and her cabin mates. But then Percy is shoved into the creek and the water basically just gives Percy life and he's just like, slay, slay, slay. Then we have the moment. The moment everybody was waiting for. Who is Percy Jackson's father? As if it wasn't blatantly obvious by the time it's revealed. Earthshaker, Stormbringer, father of horses, hail Perseus Jackson, son of the sea god. God. Do you guys like that? Yeah. So a lightning bolt has been stolen, and I think that this new kid, Percy Jackson, is the one that stole it, because that makes complete sense. This kid who had no idea that his father was a god, who had no idea about this Camp Half-Blood, yeah, he's definitely the one that stole the lightning bolt. That just makes so much sense. Hashtag not. The Oracle scene was kind of creepy. I feel like if I was Percy Jackson, I would have just like peed my pants approaching the Oracle, because it was just creepy and eerie. Actually, you know what? I feel like if I was Percy Jackson, I would have peed my pants during several moments throughout this book. Especially the moment when I realized that, you know, my dad was a god. That might have been a pee my pants moment. I'm gonna stop with the peeing of the pants moment, because I need to stop. Then we go on this quest with Percy, Annabeth, and Grover. Quest time, come on, grab your friends, we're going on a quest across the land. That didn't really work out that well, but Adventure Time reference. But anyways, the quest was so cool. It's what made this book really adventurous and fun. We have this bus scene where they're reunited with Mrs. Dodds. Not necessarily the best reunion, I'd say. You know, very action-packed reunion. The cafe with Auntie M was really strange and creepy. I feel like the fact that she knew their names and she had all these creepy statues that were very realistic, I feel like it probably should have set off some sort of signal that was like, hey, you probably shouldn't be here. And then we find out she's Medusa and Percy just has to cut off her head. Like, what? What? Okay. Wow. Insanity. We have this arch scene, and I'm not sure why Annabeth and Grover thought it was a good idea to go up the arch without Percy. Like, I feel, again, like this probably should have set off some sort of red flag, like, hey, we probably shouldn't go up the arch without Percy. It's probably not a good idea. And I mean, I guess they showed a little bit of hesitation, but they still went up the arch without Percy, and then Percy ends up having to fight a monster. And holy crap, guys, the fact that Percy jumped off the arch at 630 feet and was just like, dear dad, just please save me right now, please help me. I'm just like, I would not have been able to do that. I would not have been able to do that. You're putting your life in the hands of the Greek god, your dad, that you haven't even met yet. I don't think I would have been able to do it. Again, this would have been another one of those pee my pants kind of moments if I was Percy. So we finally get to Hades, and it turns out that Percy has the bolt in his backpack, the one that Eris gave him. I think Eris gave it to him. Which we later find out Luke was the thief. Stupid Luke. Stupid Luke. I thought the battle between Percy and Eris was super intense, but it was just awesome seeing Percy like come into his own and just harness his abilities and his powers and be like, yeah, I'm the son of the sea god. Splash, splash, splash! So Percy is finally able to return these stolen items, and we have this interesting interaction with Percy and his father. In fact, it was kind of a really intimidating interaction. Just imagining having a Greek god as a father, like, I would not want to tick off my father if he was a Greek god. Like, just imagining what the punishment would be, oh man. No thank you, no thank you. But we kind of have this awkward and sad moment between Percy and his dad. Like, his dad basically says, I'm sorry for bringing you into this world, which, I mean, I understand why his dad is sorry for bringing him into this world, but it's not necessarily the first thing you should probably say to your child. Like, hey, It's nice to finally meet you. I'm really sorry that I brought you into this world. Like, probably not the best thing to say to your son when you first meet him. My heart melted at the reunion between Percy and his mother. It was just nice to see them come together, and I really just have a lot of respect for Percy's mom because she doesn't want Percy to handle everything and make everything right. She wants to make everything right on her own. I was really sad that Percy made the decision to go home for the summer. Like, obviously he wants to be with his mom and stuff, but I also feel like he just found this place where he belongs, and he realizes that he belongs at Camp Half-Blood, and he's just not gonna stay there over the summer. But either way, those are my thoughts and feelings and opinions on The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. Let me know down below what you guys thought about this book. I'm sure that a majority of you guys loved this book, but I would love to hear what your favorite moment was, favorite scene, favorite character, all that jazz. Let me know down below, and I will see you guys soon with a new video. Later. I finally read the first book and the Percy Jackson and the... what's the series even called? So something that I loved right off the bat about this book was the relationship that we see... Whoa. Brightness. Going to turn that down. In fact, I think one of my favorite scenes in this... Stupid light, light. It keeps getting lighter in here and I can't help it. Everybody's like, your videos are so bright, and I'm like, I can't help it. Windows are making things even brighter than they normally are with just lighting, so I can't help it. I'm like in a cloud. Woo!